IG. I'm live on Facebook. Let's see if I can flip this around. There we go. I am going to try to do both of these at once, so hang with me for a second here. I'm going to try to put my phone up. Let's see if that'll work. Eek. I had my tripod and it broke, so hello. Let's see if we can get this. Can I prop this up again? Maybe a coffee mug. All right, Facebook looks good. Instagram looks okay. Eek. You guys see me? There we go. Okay, hello everyone. Happy Monday. I don't usually pop on here live, but I figured with everyone being home, I've had a lot of requests to do more cooking, and my schedule slowed down a little bit, like most of you, so I figured it'd be fun to kind of take this time to pop on here and share some little mini cooking classes. So we're going to do every day this week. I think it's 1 o'clock tomorrow, 5 o'clock on Wednesday, 1 o'clock Thursday, and 1 o'clock on Friday. So tune in. I'll be on Instagram and Facebook, hopefully, if everything works. I got my iPad up here for Facebook and my phone for IG. Hey, Amy. I see a bunch of people hopping on here. Hello. But today we're going to be doing a black bean soup. So the goal for this week is to be doing all recipes that are really simple, like 5 ingredients or less, things that typically you'd have like in your pantry, in your fridge, in your freezer. Today's recipe, we're doing a black bean soup, so we're going to be using, again, so everyone can see everything. We got salsa, garlic, black beans, veggie stock, fajita seasoning, and sharp cheddar cheese. So this is actually one of my, I was looking through old recipes just for some inspiration and ideas. And this is one of the very first recipes I ever did when I taught cooking classes back in college. So I haven't made this in a really long time, but I was trying to think of really simple pantry different recipes that would be quick and easy and healthy that I can add to a healthy passion this week. So quick reminder for those of you guys who are looking for a solution to stay on track, lose weight, stay healthy, stay accountable, have some community during this time, Trim. Our online nutrition fitness boot camp, our next round starts on Monday, April 6th. I cannot believe it's already almost April. And you can get all the information. I'll link it for you guys in the comments below. But it's 8 weeks. We're going to give you meal plans using these kinds of recipes. We're going to give you workouts you can do at home. So it's going to be really great if you're missing your gym or you're missing the accountability of having, workout buddies. It's all virtual, so we'll be there to support you and cheer you on, but you can do it all in the comfort of your own home. So definitely check it out. Also, Healthy Passion, we're doing a sale right now. If you use the code PANTRY at checkout, you save $30. So if you want healthy recipes that are simple like this, that you can use with ingredients in your pantry, definitely check out A Healthy Passion. Again, I'll link all of those when I hop off of here. So, okay, who's ready to cook with me? So what we're gonna do, I need to grab a pot. And what we're going to do is go ahead and take our beans. So this is just a simple black bean soup. It's beans and veggie stock basically as the base, and then we'll season it up with fajita seasoning and some salsa. So we're going to take our, and we're just going to drain them off and rinse them. And unfortunately, you guys are going to have to stay put. I don't have my tripod or anything, so I can't take you with me and move you around since I got you where everyone can kind of see me. But we'll make it work. So you want to drain and rinse your beans. In most cases, I like to drain and rinse my beans just because I feel like they just taste better when they're drained and rinsed. It allows you to really season them. When you have that kind of coating on there, they can be a little bit thick and goopy. So I'd rather just add veggie stock and drain them myself. Then we're going to take a blender, and I'm going to add all of it except for maybe a quarter cup. So reserve those little guys. What I like about this is it's going to add a little bit of texture. So I don't know about you all, but for me, a black bean soup, I like to have nice and creamy, but I also like to have a little bit of texture to it. So this is going to add the texture because we're going to add these back in at the end. Then you're just going to dump your can of beans in, and like all healthy passion recipes, they're all baseline to serve 2. So this one serves 2. And if you guys have questions, I can see, so you can type them in there. We're going to get those in, and then we're going to go ahead and add 1/2 of a veggie stock cube. If you guys have veggie stock on hand, you can use that as well. You'll just use about 3/4 to 1 cup of stock, but I'm just using these cubes. These are the Edward & Sons cubes. I get them at Whole Foods or Kroger. I love them because you can cut up into a half, a quarter. You can use as little or as much as you want. They taste like chicken stock, but they're actually veggie, and they have really clean ingredients. So if you're not using homemade, the ideal thing to add would be bone broth here, because that would add additional protein, additional healthy minerals and vitamins. I love to do bone broth as often as possible, but again, I'm trying to use things that I have on hand, so the stock is what I'm using. And then we're gonna add some salsa. So this is really gonna be kind of like shortcut between, you know, when you have to add like tomatoes and seasonings and, you know, like tomato paste, whatever you would add in your black bean soup. I've never tried this one, but this is what I had in my pantry. But it basically is just roasted tomatoes, onion, tomato paste, chipotle chilies, vinegar, sesame oil, garlic, oregano, and lime. So these are kind of all the things that I would typically add to a soup, but it's all in one. So that's kind of a fun little shortcut. And I'm gonna add, let's do about 2 tablespoons maybe, or 3. Let's do 3 tablespoons here. And again, this is kind of like a shortcut to adding all those ingredients that I don't have right now. So the salsa is gonna add a nice amount of flavor. What I'm gonna use to flavor it up is this fajita seasoning. I think I showed you guys these a few weeks ago, but seasonings are really great to keep on hand. These seasoning mixes, and I have a ton of different ones. The fajita is probably one of my favorites because it does have so many ingredients in one. So rather than having to get out cumin and coriander and chili powder and cayenne pepper and all those things, I just have this. And I am going to add, let's see, a teaspoon. Let's do a teaspoon. And that's really going to flavor this up nicely. And then the last thing I'm going to add before I add my water is a garlic clove. And actually, garlic was one of the things that I ran out of first before I did my grocery delivery last week. And honestly, garlic is something I add to everything, so it was a little bit weird not having it. But we got more. And we're just gonna add this raw garlic clove in whole. I have a Vitamix, so for me, I just add everything in and let the Vitamix do the work. But if you don't have a Vitamix, you might wanna chop your garlic clove up a little bit. Okay, so then I'm just going to add about a cup of water. And what I like to do when I make soups is I add a little bit of water at a time. Because for me, there's nothing worse than when you kind of overdo it on the water and you thin out your soup and you really can't thicken it. So for me, I'd rather add more water and not over kind of saturate my soup. So I start with a little bit, blend it, add a little bit more, blend it. What you want here is kind of a nice thick soup, but you don't want it to be too creamy. So I'll show you guys kind of what the texture I'm looking for is. But we'll start with like 3/4 of a cup and then I'll just add more as I need it. So we'll get that in there. I'm also heating up a saucepan over medium-low heat, and I'm going to add a little drizzle of olive oil in there because obviously the soup is going to be cold. So you want it to be nice and ready to go to preheat that, so that way when the soup's done, we can just add it in, warm it through, and it'll be ready to go in a minute or 2. Okay, now I'm just going to blend. Actually, what did I add? I added about a half cup of liquid, and that looks pretty good to me. So I'm gonna go ahead and write that down so I don't forget. You guys can see the consistency. It's thick, but it's still nice and pourable. So we're gonna add our saucepan, and this would be really delicious served with like some grilled cheese. Served with just some crusty bread. I bought a few baguettes and just froze them, so I've been defrosting them and having them. But then I'm gonna go ahead and take my beans, and I wish I could show you guys. Can you guys see that? Stir those in. You can serve sour cream on top of this. I had some cheese on hand, so that's what I'm using. But now I'm just gonna heat it up over, like I said, kind of a medium-low heat. Let me see if I can turn my iPad. Can you guys see that? My pantry's wide open. All right, here we go, Instagram. I'm gonna turn you guys to, maybe if I shut this, it'll be better. And shut my pantry. All right, see if you guys can see. There we go. So I'm just gonna heat that up for about 3 or 4 minutes. Maybe you can turn the heat up a little bit to speed up the process, but you guys can see. I'm gonna flip this around, maybe that'll be easier. You guys can see on Instagram and Facebook. Let's see, can you guys see that? There we go. So there we have it. It's a really simple soup. So I'll go ahead and plate it up. It might not be super warm, but I'll plate it up so you guys can see what it's supposed to look like. But it smells so good, and the flavor is so delicious. The other thing I haven't done yet is taste it. So one thing I like to do before I plate something up is just taste it and adjust the seasonings, because oftentimes you know, it's just, you don't quite get it right the first time. I added that veggie stock in there, so I'm assuming that's going to be enough salt. I also love heat, so maybe I'll add a little bit more seasoning with some red pepper flakes, but we'll see where it is. Honestly, it's seasoned perfectly. That veggie stock had a lot of salt to it. And this salsa has so much flavor. You can really taste that garlic, which will actually develop even more as you let it cook. Get a little bit richer. And also the fajita seasoning really adds a nice bite to it. Okay, so let's go ahead and put some into a bowl so you guys can see the finished product. Try not to make a mess. And again, this serves 2, so if you want to make it for the whole family, you could just double it easily, or you could make 6 portions depending on how many beans you have on hand. And I apologize, I'm going to try to find a better, this was sort of a last minute idea to do this week, just because you guys keep asking for recipes. So this is sort of a last minute thing, but I'm going to try to have a little bit better setup maybe tomorrow. See that? There we go. Sort of. Okay. I'm just going to grate my cheese over top. And one thing I love to do is finish off my dishes with a little like pinch of salt and red pepper just for some texture. That as well. Let's see if I can find my grater. Of course, it's in the dishwasher from last night. So a little cheese right on top. Another thing, this is actually what I wrote in the original recipe, was cashew cream. So if you wanted to make it dairy-free, you could take some cashews and soak them overnight and then put them in the blender and get them all nice and creamy. I'm not worried about that. I'm just going to do a little bit of cheese on top. And like I said, a little bit of red pepper flakes for some color and some texture. A little salt for some crunch. And then the last thing I'm going to add of these left, and they're actually going to go bad here soon. A little thinly sliced green onion right over top. So this is something optional. If you don't have it, no worries, but it'll just add a nice pretty pop of color, and of course onion flavor, which I always love. And I like to cut them on a bias just to kind of give them that pretty restaurant style look, but again, this is totally optional. I hope you guys can see this. There we go. Can Instagram? Yeah, Instagram can see. Facebook, can you see? There we go. So this is a really simple black bean soup. To recap for those of you guys who hopped on late, we took black beans, drained them and rinsed them off, threw them in the blender, reserving about 1/4 cup for garnish. We took some salsa. This is the one I use. It's from Trader Joe's, but you can use any prepared salsa you have on hand. And this basically covered like the lime, the cilantro, the onion. I added more garlic because I like garlic, but it replaced the tomatoes. We used fajita seasoning. We used veggie stock cubes, a little bit of garlic. And then I pureed that all together, back in, warmed it over medium heat, finished it off with a little bit of white cheddar cheese, a little bit of green onions, some red pepper flakes, and salt. And it's a super simple, delicious black bean soup made with ingredients you have on hand. So if you guys like this recipe, make it and like it, let me know. If you do make it, please take pictures. I love to see what you guys cook. Definitely join me tomorrow. I'm going to be on at 1 o'clock. I'm making, I think I'm doing the salmon burgers tomorrow. I can't remember. My list is wet and it all ran together, but I'm going to be cooking up another delicious pantry inspired recipe using things that I have on hand. I'm not shopping for any of these, so it's just stuff that I have stocked up on. Again, trying to teach you guys just some simple techniques and how easy it can be to stay on track during this time. So make this, take a picture, share it, let me see it. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'm going to go put it in the refrigerator. It's low carb day for Trim, so I'm not going to eat it till Wednesday, but I figured I'd make it up for you all today so you could see it. For those of you who aren't doing low carb today, go get your pantry, raid your pantry, and make this one. Again, Trim starts on Monday. It's going to be April 6th. Trim's our 8-week boot camp, nutrition and fitness. It's going to be awesome, especially for those of you guys who are craving that interaction, because we have tons of women in one group. We have anywhere from 50 to 100 women in a group, cheering each other on. We've got our trainers in there hanging out. Val and I are in there hanging out. So it's a really good program for those of you guys who are looking to do something at home, because we don't want to all come out of this unhealthy and unhappy. So definitely check that out if you're interested for a program. Tomorrow for more cooking. This is fun, and I promise I'll try to get the Facebook and Instagram working a little bit better tomorrow with my setup, but I think it worked out pretty well, and I'm so excited to see so many of you guys are on here. So, all right, I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.